Hey guys, I can't believe I have the webcam turned on, but I need to show you a visual with one of the things I'm going to say, so just bear with it. I'm going to talk about lead-ins in this little screencast. The first one I'm going to talk about is the full sentence lead-in because it's the one that most writers make a mistake with. And if I'm attaching this as a tutorial on your essay, it's probably the one that I'm pointing to, although it might not be, so stay tuned. Full sentence lead-ins. If you want to, you can write a full sentence and then you can kind of point to the rest of the sentence. Do you see this? This is the mark of punctuation that we call a colon, 2 dots, okay? So look at that number 3 sentence there, the full sentence lead-in. Never before had Jerry felt so strong. He stretched his arms over his head and yodeled until dawn. So do you see how the quoted portion comes after that full sentence? Never before had Jerry felt so strong. That's a full sentence. But in this case, it's saying like, wait, there's more. So put a colon at the end of your full sentence lead-in and then your quotation marks and your quote. If you have an MLA citation, it goes after. The quotation marks be at the end of the sentence, and then the period, as you can see on the screen here, the period comes after the quotation or after the MLA citation. If there were no MLA citation here, that period would go inside those quotation marks. The only time the period goes outside of the quotation marks is when you have an MLA citation. Otherwise, periods go inside quotation marks. So do commas, so do exclamation points, so do question marks, inside, unless there's an MLA citation. The next kind of lead-in is a running quote. In a running quote, this is like the baton pass in a relay race. It's smooth. You don't know where the quoted part is. If you weren't looking at the sentence, you really wouldn't know. So for example, don't look at your screen for a second and listen to this sentence. When several writers gathered in the hills of Ohio, they ran out of topics before nightfall and spent the remainder of their time playing Uno. If you had your eyes closed, you know that you have no idea where the quotation marks are. When you open your eyes and you look at the sentence, you go, oh, starting with the word ran and ending with the word Uno, it's a direct quote. So those quotation marks just kind of drop in from the sky, and we don't use any punctuation right before the quoted material because the sentence is already up and running and it's just going to keep on going. Those quote marks drop in from the sky. See why I call it like the baton pass in a relay race? You have to be looking at the sentence to know where the quoted material is. I think running quotes are rather elegant. The final kind of lead-in, and it's number 1 in the list here, is the traditional lead-in. And that's the lead-in that you get, every time that you are reading a novel and you have dialogue that you're looking at. It's a traditional lead-in. In a paper that you're writing, the most important thing to know is that traditional lead-ins are phrases. They end with a comma and then the quoted material. So, according to writer Jane Doe, the theory that nothing matters is utterly depressing. Critic Susie Smith claims, Stevens eliminates his obstacles. One Hollywood reporter asserts, now I'm doing that stupid little breath because that's a comma. A comma is a little breath, okay? Change it up. Notice that it is according to writer Jane Doe, critic Susie Smith claims, one Hollywood reporter asserts. So your lead-ins should be varied. They shouldn't all be the same. And one final parting word. At the end of quoted material, if you have an MLA citation, you end your quote, then you have your MLA citation, then you have your mark of end punctuation, the period. If you don't have an MLA citation, then that period or a exclamation point or question mark or comma, whatever, the mark of punctuation goes inside the quote unless you have an MLA citation. I hope this little tutorial helps you sort all of this out so you can get it right in your essays. And if you have any questions, I'm Mrs. Cunningham.